I'm author Leighton J Reynolds. I am the author of the Seaville Wildfire Trilogy, which is actually 4 books, and they are about the hunt for a serial arsonist in Southern California. But as I wrote the story, you know how writing has a way of generating its own characters, and the story became also a story about the community of Seaville, California, and the struggle that all communities go through between drives towards life and happiness and drives towards death and destruction, represented so well by the metaphor of fire, which does both. It heats your home, it cooks your food, and it can also destroy your community. And I'm happy to be here and really appreciate all the support from AuthorCentrix. They've been wonderful to me. Thank you very much. I was always interested in writing fiction, but I spent my life getting a doctorate and wrote a lot of papers. And finally, when I was done with that, I said, you know what, it's time for me to write something fiction. And I live in Southern California, in the heart of wildfire country, where I was noticing that wildfires destroyed people's lives, not only physically, but the loss of your home was the loss of your identity and all the valuables that you held dearly, and they weren't going to come back, and you couldn't get a second chance at it. So I got interested in writing in a coffee shop that's featured in the series It's a Grind, a real coffee shop in the community of Santa Clarita. Much of it was written right there. Many of the characters, Big Bad Bob was the manager of the coffee shop. He's very much a character in the story. The question is, why is he hiding $7 million in the roof of It's a Grind, which eventually burns? I noticed a homeless, psychotic gentleman in the parking lot all the time. So he became the character Dingo in the story. My hope in writing about It's a Grind was to save the coffee shop, because it was during the recession and the coffee shop was about to go under. So I thought, wow, if I could somehow get some publicity out there, we could save the coffee shop. Without my help, they survived, and they're still there in Castaic, California. You can visit them and you can get a feel for the story right there.
You might place
right, exactly. And much of what I wrote about is what I researched. It's based on true facts. And interesting to me that art mimics life. Much of what I wrote about actually became a part of real life. For example, Dr. Sterling and his 2 kids survived the wildfire by jumping into the neighbor's pool. It's the only way they can save themselves. Well, that actually has happened to several people that I've read about in the newspaper. The only way they could save their lives. So it's been interesting. So yes, I took a great deal of information from the community I lived in. Well, this is actually the 3rd novel. It's in 2 volumes because this was supposed to be a trilogy in 3 books, but I couldn't tell the whole story to my own satisfaction in just 3 books. So my brother said, well, what is this? This is a trilogy plus 1? Is that what this is? He has a great sense of humor. So in the first book, I was really concentrating on the problem of undergoing a wildfire and what that does to people and how people survive and who might be a suspect in these fires in Seaville. And then in the second novel, I start to explore the community itself and the struggle that Seaville, California has between life drives and death drives. And then I got into the whole notion of who might be involved in promoting arson. Why would you gain anything by burning things? So that's very much a part of the mystery of the story. I really enjoyed being at the Miami International Book Festival, and I'm really appreciative of all that AuthorCentrix has done to help me be here and to promote the books. Come, it's wonderful. Southern, maybe Latin influence. The energy I feel in Miami is very different than LA. It's very cool. And it just feels very Latin here. It's really cool. Come. Next year. It's every year, I believe. Every year. Yeah. As a final goodbye to everyone, I am Leighton J Reynolds, the author of the Seaville Wildfire Trilogy. You can get a direct link to buying my books at my website, which is ljreynolds-author.com, and there's a link to buying the books. They're available on Amazon and available online through Barnes & Noble, and I would love your feedback. And you can contact me through the website. Thanks a bunch, Danny, for the time and the encouragement, and again to AuthorCentrix for sponsoring me. Really been appreciated.